Hi, I'm Joy Straub, a teacher at Mission Vista High School in Vista, California. I've been teaching a full course of data science for 3 years now. My favorite, very excited for data science in our schools. But best way to get you excited for data science is for you to hear directly from students who've just completed the course. So enjoy.
One thing I took away from Intro to Data Science was definitely learning how to use Pirate, because I was actually going to drop the class when you said that there's going to be coding, because I was like, that's for smart people, it's for nerdy people, not for me. I don't think I can do it. But I was able to learn it, and I was so happy to do that because I love it so much. It's really fun, and it kickstarted me into being able to learn other computer programs, and that will be so helpful in the future.
I also will never forget how to read and fully understand graphs. Before going into data science, I never really understood how to read graphs or anything like that. But now, after going through the course and completing the final capstone project, it's really opened my eyes and made me think, yeah, wow, reading graphs is way easier than I thought it was ever going to be. Especially because I'm not a very sciencey, mathematic person. I've struggled with math my whole life, and this class was easy to understand from my perspective, at least.
Two main takeaways that I learned from this class were learning about the abuse of data collection and also how to correctly analyze and interpret data. When we learned about the abuse of data collection, we learned about things called threats to validity, and these are ways that you could jeopardize your validity in your data set. So we learned that there are correct ways in which you survey your data, as well as how to ask the questions so you wouldn't get any threats to validity. Some people would conduct surveys incorrectly to get the answers that they want, which is morally wrong, and we should never conduct a survey or experiment that would give us false information. We learned that a study on autism and vaccination was conducted in an incorrect way, and the misinterpretation of data caused a lot of unnecessary panic to parents.
Another thing I won't forget about in this class is how different factors could affect survey results. Nowadays, every time I look at a survey, or at least very recently, every time I've looked at a survey or any collection of data, experiment or anything, I'm really thinking what confounding variables may exist. And sometimes I'm even able to point them out, just like, hey, they got this wrong, so take this with a grain of salt.
So 2 things that I would take away from this class is that you can never assume anything about data that you gather, and you have to really dig deeper into the data to really look at why is this happening? Is it because of this? Or instead of just saying oh, this happens because of this, just by looking at it, you really need to dig into the data and really just look at it and find the small details that'll make it make sense in a way. And another thing I learned is that being able to show data and how you show your data is really important to the story. And if someone tells you a bad story, like in the vaccines example, that's what I really remember is that in the vaccines they told it cause autism, so everyone believed it because it came from a trustworthy person. And if you're a trustworthy person and say something bad about some other thing according to faulty data, it's going to make situations a lot worse.
In this class, I not only gained an understanding of how to, number one, analyze data, but number two, how to tell a story through it. From learning how to analyze data, I have become competent in how to use notices and wonders to my advantage and ask informative questions to discover my answer. We also learned in this course how to communicate and understand the stories behind the data for various types of graphs that can be given to us. We did this numerous times through our personal projects and coding in Pirate, and through the weekly interactions and what's going on this graphs assignments.
I would definitely say that you need to take the class to anyone that asked me if it was a good course. Not only because we have no homework or tests, that's a good part, but also because I believe that it truly was a good learning experience for me. Like I said, I never thought I would be able to be scientific or mathy in my life. I want to be a history teacher. So this is definitely not my field of expertise, but I just really never thought that I would be able to code in my life. Like, I just think that that was a really cool thing for me to learn, and like, it was honestly just eye-opening. Like, I never thought like coding would be that easy, like with the help of like my teacher and my peers.
If I were to try and convince someone to join this course, I would tell them how useful this course is to real life and how it's just so fun to be able to take real life events and things that you're fascinated in, anything that you're fascinated in, and this can relate to it, and you're going to use it in the future, and you use it in your everyday life. I see myself reading articles and being like, this was a really dumb study. This was a really dumb way that they got data. Like, I can't trust this. And people are using data like that all the time. It's just crazy to see that. And so it's so interesting to take a class that really directly applies to real life, and you don't feel the whole time like, this is stupid, I'm never going to use this. Like, I felt like that in integrated 1 and integrated 2. I was just like, after college, I don't think I'll ever look at an equation like this again unless I go into a math field or a science field. But this class, you use this information in every job, everything that you're involved in. If you're in sales, if you're in arts, if you're in math or science as well, and just everything. I think that it's just so helpful. And I never felt like it wasn't useful.
If I were to convince someone to take this course, I would tell them that data science is almost like learning a practical skill because data is used in so many things in our life, especially the internet when misinterpretations of data is being spread, and we just kind of consume this information without knowing what these data displays mean. So if we are able to correctly analyze and interpret them, then we can come up with our own findings and our own interpretations of this data without any bias. And when we make these correct interpretations of data, we are lessening the spread of false information, which I think needs to be happening because so much false information is being spread.
It really applies to real life. That's a common question about classes. Like, hey, when are we going to use this in real life? This is a class where you're going to gain valuable information that you will use in real life.
If I had to convince someone to take the course, I would say you really learn a lot about graphs and there's a lot to learn about graphs. It's really useful if someone wants to go into like engineering or science or something where there is a lot of data collection. It's really good to know how to collect data properly, how to get rid of threats, how to like minimize biases or threats, and also displaying data, like which data displays you'd want to do, and how to show like the story of data very clearly to an audience so there's no confusion and there's a way, in like a readable way, where people want to learn more about it.
If I was tasked to convince someone to take this course, I would inform them that this is a math class unlike any other. This course, you not only learn how to code your own graphs, but you get to learn how to create and analyze stories through them. In data science, we also have the opportunity to learn skills to investigate real-world questions and solve them. I personally enjoy this course because it is very hands-on and personalized.
This class has overall been such a great experience, and I am so sad that we have to leave this class because it's honestly been so much fun. And yeah, that's it. Bye.